welcome to Movement Not Miracles. I'm Anna from Eat, Move, Be Happy, and Movement Not Miracles is your bite-sized version of ways of looking after your posture, stretching through some of your muscles, keeping your joints mobile, and generally warding off some of those aches and pains that we can get when our joints get stiff and sore. So keeping moving, hence Movement Not Miracles. So today we're going to do a bit of a twist, so some twists and some stretches. So the twist will work through our spine and our mobility, particularly in our, well actually not just our upper back today, through our whole spine. And some of the stretches will work through, well, we're going to stretch, broadly speaking, our legs, because my legs are a bit stiff. They've worked hard this morning, so forgive me, but we're looking after my body as well. So to start off with, a nice simple move, just to get everything a little bit warm and a little bit moving, some shoulder rolls. And these are a really simple move that you can do to help get your muscles in your upper back working and moving, and to work through your posture. So we can all do these whether we're seated or we're standing, and if we did them more frequently, I am willing to bet that our posture would improve and our back would feel less stiff and our shoulders will be less rounded. So we're aiming for a nice big stretch across our collarbones and really squeezing our shoulder blades together as we come up and back and down. So if you are seated, make sure you are sitting with your weight evenly distributed on your left and your right side bottom bones. Don't be sitting on the fleshy part of your bum. Be sitting up nice and tall, away from the back of the chair. And if you are standing, same sort of thing, standing with our weight evenly distributed left and right foot, and just aiming to get as big a move. Really scrunch those shoulders up to the ears and then back and down. My shoulders feel like they've worked as well. I'm trying to think what I've been doing for my shoulders to, I can't think, just general stuff, I think. And then just to make sure, grab my trusty yoga band, just to make sure we've got some movement through those shoulders and through those arms and that upper back. I'm going to do some shoulder dislocates. So we are the wider apart your arms, and as you can see, my hands are quite wide, but my shoulders are not that flexible, and we focus on what we can do. So the wider your hands, using some sort of belt or band that is not stretchy. I'm using a yoga belt. You can use a dressing gown cord. You can use something like a tea towel, as long as it's wide enough. So again, sitting or standing tall, and keeping our arms straight, we're aiming to get our arms all the way across the back without letting that happen. So we don't want your bum sticking out, so your bum stays under. And I need to do a couple with my arms more or less at the full width of this band, just to get my back moving. And then you can bring your arms in a little bit, your hands a bit closer together, which makes it a little bit harder. You need more flexibility in your shoulders to get your arms up and around. And whatever you're doing, make sure there should not be any pain in the joint. So your muscles might feel like they're working. So my shoulders are definitely, the muscles in my shoulders are definitely working there. So I can feel that, but there's no pain in the joint. That feels a little bit better through my shoulders, I do have to say. Another really simple exercise, and something else that we could all benefit from doing more of, just the simple and effective twist. So just twisting through our spine, just to get as much movement through the vertebrae as we can. So the whole of the chest comes round. It's not just moving our arms. We're aiming to get as much movement. And because we're for movement at the moment, we're going to keep the the pace quite quick. You can do twists and hold them, which we're going to do in a minute with a slightly different one. But for now, we're just warming things up. And again, you can do these in between, in between television programmes if you're sitting watching the television. Sit nice and tall and then just do 10 twists before you move on to the next thing. Or in a break between meetings or whatever it is. But just keeping your back moving. It's really important with these to make sure that you have a good starting, well, it's important with most of the things that we do, to have a good starting position. So sitting nice and tall or standing nice and tall with your shoulders back and down rather than sort of slumping down. It's really difficult to get any movement through your spine if everything's squashed down. Plus it can aggravate because your vertebrae are not in the right position to start off with. So standing nice and tall or sitting nice and tall means you're going to get much more movement, and movement in the right way. And there's Martha, who's coming to help. She always gets up, wakes up when we start doing Movement Not Miracles. She was fast asleep a second ago, but hey ho. So, a few twists working on getting things moving. We're now going to do a version of a twist to actually hold and see if we can stretch through some of the muscles in our upper back. Now I'm going to do a kneeling down version, but you can do this seated. So same sort of action. If you struggle with this version, do the seated one and twist holding onto the back of the chair. And we're aiming to hold the move now. Martha's come for a cuddle, which is not particularly helpful. You're not helping me at the minute, Martha. So if you're doing the version where you are kneeling down, then one hand is going to go behind the head and the other hand is stabilising you. So you might want to move it into the centre a little bit. I'm going to take one elbow to the other elbow and then twisting through the chest. So I'm pushing the floor away with the hand that's on the floor, and I'm trying to take this elbow back as much as I can. So we're going to hold it for a few breaths and then relax, and then again breathe out as you twist up, and then keeping breathing but holding that twist. I'm going to do one more on this side. I have to concentrate when I do these. So it helps to push the floor away. If you're doing these seated, you can take your elbow down and then push away on your thigh so you've got some traction. It doesn't matter whether it's your thigh or the floor. So again, twisting all the way around, elbow as high as you can. Elbow to elbow. Keep breathing. Try and twist all the way through that chest. There we go. Right. So, a little bit of a tactical waggle with the shoulders. Right, the next one that I'm going to show you, we're now going to move into some stretches of the legs. So I'm going to grab my belt back. So I'm doing these on the floor. I'm going to clunk Martha on my head then. So we're aiming to, hopefully you can see me, hopefully I'm in the right place. Right, so we're aiming to sit nice and tall on the bones of your bum. So we're not sitting back like this, never going to reach our toes from there. So sitting nice and tall, thinking of hinging from our groins, so from our groin at our hip area. Toes pointing towards the ceiling, so you should be working quite hard in your quads, the muscles in your thighs, to push your legs down into the floor and think of sitting up nice and tall out of your pelvis. Imagine you have a rope attached to the crown of your head and somebody's pulling you up through from that rope. So you're having to use the muscles in your core, muscles in your belly, in the sides and in your back to support your posture. And then a big breath in as you reach up and a big breath out as you come towards your toes. Now, if you cannot touch your toes, that is absolutely fine. You can widen your legs a little bit actually, and that makes it a little bit easier. But another way is if you use your belt or your dressing gown cord or your tea towel and loop it around the bottom of your feet. That sort of extends your arms. It is easier to get access to this stretch if you can anchor something. So if you can pull on a support, whether that's your feet or the belt. It's harder to do it if you're just holding onto your legs. If you haven't got anything to loop around your feet and you're just holding onto your legs, that's absolutely fine. You're going to get some stretch down the back of your legs. Actually holding on to, bracing against the belt means you can access a stretch through your lower back as well. So, if you can get hold of your toes, and think of, at the moment my back's quite rounded, so what I want you to think about is bringing your chest forwards and trying to squeeze your shoulder blades. Now, I'm not getting that in my upper back, so I'm going to use the belt a little and hopefully you can see. So it's gone from there, and now I can squeeze my shoulder blades together. So I'm still working through my back, trying to hinge forward from my hips. My legs are quite tight, so I'm letting the muscles through the backs of my legs relax. And as they relax, I'm going to try and move a little bit further forwards from the groin area here. So I'm thinking of moving my belly button along my thighs. Still can't quite. There we go, that's a bit better. So I can feel that stretch in my lower back, which is where I want to stretch as well, but I can also feel quite a good stretch down the back of my legs. Okay, and just release that. And then we're going to do a similar sort of thing, but this time with one leg bent. So this is going to move the stretch. You're still going to stretch through your straight leg, the back of that, but now we're going to stretch through the outside of this hip and into this part of our back. And it's opposite hand to the straight leg. So our opposite hand comes down to the straight leg. Now, I am particularly stiff today, so I am not going to be able to get hold of my toe, but that does not matter. So we can use the belt to brace against your foot and think of moving everything forwards. So rather than being like this, we're moving forwards from the base, holding the belt as close to the foot as you can, and thinking of moving that belly button along your leg. And I might be able to, look at that. I can get hold of my toes now. And if you think, relax through the rest of your body, which really helps with the stretch. If you're tense elsewhere, it's really difficult for your muscles to stretch. It's distracting. So pay attention to what else is going on and just relax through each bit as you notice some tension. Make sure your tongue is away from the roof of your mouth. Your tongue is a muscle as well, and often when we feel tense, we find our tongue fastened in the roof of our mouth, which is not a relaxed position. Okay, relax out of that one, and now we're going to change legs. Just so set up first, sitting nice and tall. This is my right leg now, bent, knee flopped down to the side, sitting tall, right hand towards my left foot. I'm actually better on this side than I thought I was going to be. So quite rounded at the minute, so I'm thinking of bringing that chest forwards, broadening across my chest, squeezing my shoulder blades together and moving the whole of my body, there we go, along that leg. And breathe as you relax. Into that. If you can relax while you're stretching, it improves the quality of the stretch, and it can also be quite mindful. It can be quite calming. So you achieve two birds with one stone, as it were. So that's the end of Movement Not Miracles for today. Hopefully your shoulders feel a little bit more movement, your upper back, all of your back with the twists, and you will have stretched through your lower back and into the backs of your legs. Don't forget to check out the website www.eatmovebehappy.com. We have lots more ideas for looking after your health and well-being, online coaching to help you with your control your eating and your exercise habits. Martha, you can go out in a minute. So if you're thinking, do you know what, I'm coming up to Christmas, not an awful lot I can do about my eating and exercise, then there are things that you can do, and we can help you work through that. And also, if you sign up for Live Better, the online healthy eating and exercise program, online coaching to help you change your habits 1 week at a time. If you sign up before Christmas, then a friend can sign up for half price. So it's worth having a look at the website to see how you can kickstart your 2021. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will be back with Movement Not Miracles tomorrow. Well, Martha and I will probably be back tomorrow. So meow, she doesn't like being picked up. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. I'm sorry you want to be picked up.